Hi, so you clicked on this because we're talking about prenups. First, I'm going to run through a Q&A, and then I'm going to go over the top 10 reasons why prenups are sometimes overturned. So let's get started. Here is a question that I get a lot. Dear Morgan, I'm getting married on Friday. Can you draft a prenup for me? Signed, Monday. Dear Monday, congratulations, your marriage is almost here in a week. Perhaps, you might have put a lot of planning into the ceremony. Seriously, things fall through the cracks, and this is one of those things. Life happens. There's a lot of details that go into a wedding, and maybe this is one of those things you forgot. Or maybe you're sort of rushing your nuptials along because there's a sick relative. No judgment here. This is just something that you need to address now. The problem is most prenups need to have a solid level of advanced planning. A lot of deep, concentrated thinking needs to go into a prenup before you sign it. We're talking about the sort of planning that maybe you would use if you were purchasing a car or buying a house, because this is marriage. It's one of those major life events. If I draft your prenup today, Monday, and you get married on Friday, that kind of planning and thinking that needs to happen probably didn't happen. In fact, your soon-to-be spouse may feel an intense amount of pressure to sign the prenup because they just don't want to mess something up for the wedding on Friday. And that kind of pressure, that comes with a lot of legal-sounding terms like fraud in the inducement or coercion or duress. But basically, it just means that there was so much pressure, your soon-to-be spouse might have just signed anything, even something scrawled on a cocktail napkin, just to avoid problems. So what are your options under this scenario, Monday? Because your grandmother is coming and you need to have something done. Okay, you have two choices. Number one, push back the wedding. Maybe you can have a ceremony that really isn't a wedding. Maybe you don't need to get the license. You can just do a ceremony that looks like a wedding. And then you can take care of the legal aspect of it later on and have a private ceremony. Or maybe you could actually really delay the wedding. This is a major decision. This is a major life event. And if this is true love, it'll keep. So those are really two of the options. The third option, well, you could maybe enter into an agreement after the marriage. Some people will call this a postnup. When I talk to people about this, though, they seem interested. It sounds great. Let's put it off. Let's have our wedding, and then we'll come back to it. But after the wedding, usually people are very, happy. You're newlyweds. You don't want to come back to this discussion, and a lot of times that's a downside to this sort of option. Either way, think about this. Marriage is really easy to enter, and it is very complicated to exit. So if you have a little voice that's saying, wait a minute, consider just taking a pause. Why is your little voice in your gut telling you to hold on? So, that said, I'm going to go through my top 10 reasons why a prenup may be found invalid. The first reason number one, pressure. If a person is pressured by another, a family member, a lawyer, to sign the agreement, it may be invalid. Number two, you didn't read it. Your beloved didn't read those papers. Or you didn't read those papers. Either way, that's a problem. Number three, it's not properly signed. You both have to sign it. You need witnesses. You need a notary. And both of you must sign it before the wedding. Number four, time. You need adequate time to carefully think about this before you enter into it. Number five, a writing. You need this in writing. You cannot just shake hands on it. Number six, invalid clauses. There may be some things that you cannot contract around. For example, child support for unborn children. You cannot contract your way out of that. So clauses that are found invalid will be stricken by the court, but the entire agreement may still stand. Number 7, lies or misstatements. Both of you need full disclosure about your income, your assets, and your debts before entering into a prenup. So if you lie about that stuff, then the agreement might be invalid. Number 8, omissions. Omissions, failing to give information, is just as bad as a lie. Number 9, no attorneys. You both should have your own attorneys. Your interests may not be aligned in some of this contract, so that's why you each need your own attorney to advise you. And number 10 is something that I like to call overwhelming unfairness. You can contract many things in this agreement. You can say, no one's having any alimony, no one has the right to inherit anything, one of you is going to pay all the bills. Whatever your agreement is, that's fine. But if the whole agreement is so one-sided that it's extremely unfair, one of you has a windfall and the other one has hardship, then the court may find it overwhelmingly unfair. The legal term is unconscionable, and that means the agreement is invalid. If you have any questions about this, please feel free to send me an email.